welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of The Shift. My name is Joe Marquez, Director of Academic Innovation for Q. And as always, my co-host, Tyler Keefe. Tyler, please introduce yourself.
Hey, Joe. My name is Tyler Keefe. I am the instructional coach up here at Sherman Elementary School in Nampa, Idaho, and glad to be back after a few weeks hiatus as we are right in the middle of state testing, which I know every educator out there, it's their favorite time of the year.
Oh, state testing is a great time, right? And then retesting, and then those students who miss the testing have to find a way to go testing. But I think we talked a little bit about this as well, Tyler. I always found this a great time because when I was done with state testing, that's where I really got to have some like innovation, kind of do some extra things to keep the students involved. My science department would always do a solar car build. The kids would have to design a solar car, and we had the motors and the solar panels and all that stuff. They had to put it together. We did races outside. So it was really a great time. I loved it. But sometimes it can be hard knowing you have 4 weeks left and testing is done. And the kids are like, well, what else? Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've had a few conversations with a couple teachers based on our conversations of, hey, this is the time to go try some new fun things for next year. And then also, we've been in the middle of interviews for a couple of open positions that we're going to have, which is kind of funny because I find myself saying things like, you're coming from a Google district. How are you going to be with making the shift to a Microsoft Apple district? And it's, people from Arizona, people from California. And I find myself more and more, and it makes me very, very glad that we're able to do these because then I can just say, hey, here's a bank of videos for you to watch that'll help you out. And, hopefully they're helpful for not only them, but our viewers as well.
Yeah, and if this is your first view of The Shift, everybody, you can go back to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/QOrg, and you can find all the past episodes of The Shift. But the crux of the show is we're showing you a activity or something you can do in one of the ecosystems, and we're trying to see if the other person can do it the same. So like I act as the Google innovator and Tyler acts as the Microsoft innovator, and we go back and forth. And last week, Tyler showed us a way using Google Slides to create a faux app, meaning like a fake app with redirects and buttons. Today, I want to show you how to make a parent sign-up form. For example, let's say that you have a parent sign-up form for meetings. Let's say every week you have like 4 slots every day you can meet with parents, right? And you want to make sure that parents go in and can sign up. But you don't want 2 parents to sign up for the same time. I want to show you how to create a form that automatically removes an option when a person selects it. Or another thing would be, what if you are having a classroom party and you need parents to sign up to bring like potato chips or, water or juice or cupcakes or what have you, but you don't want everybody to choose the juice and then nobody brings the cupcakes, or everybody brings the napkins, but nobody brings the cups, right? And so you want to be able to have a sign up where it kind of it erases things. And so I want to show you using Google Forms how we can make that happen. So hopefully, as you watch this, keep in mind, how are you going to do that in the Microsoft realm?
Yeah, so a real quick question for you, because I know there are a couple of platforms, services that you can do this with, like Go Sign Me Up or Sign Up Genius. But I do want to point out there is a reason why we'd want to use Google or Microsoft, and that deals with the privacy issues, because those third-party applications, platforms, they will sometimes sell your information if I'm, understanding correctly. So we want to use something that's within our own ecosystem so that doesn't happen. Is that correct?
Yeah, we want to stay within our own ecosystem as much as possible, right? One of the key things we always say is if their product is free, you're what they're selling. You know what I mean? So they're not just nice people. I mean, I'm sure there are nice people, right? But they're not just giving you something for free. They always take a little bit off the top, and usually that's your personal information. All right, so let's jump in here to sharing what we're going to be looking at today. So what I want to show you right now is the ability to create a form. So let me start. We're going to make a parent meeting. I'm going to come back to this one in a second, but I'm going to show you how I start this up. Again, you can go to your Google Drive if you wanted to, click new and create a new form. The easiest way is in the Omni box right up here. All you do is type form.new and boom, it automatically opens it up for you. That's the easiest way to do that. I'm going to title this form right here, new parent meet. And as soon as I hit enter, boom, it automatically titles the form. Remember the difference between these two. This is the name that will appear as the file in your Google Drive. This is the name that will appear to whoever is doing your form. You can make them the same, which is most common, or you can make them different. But that's why you should know what is used for what. So I'm going to call this one, please sign up for a time slot. First question, always make sure you ask the parent's name. And I usually split first name. And the cool thing about Google is it goes, oh, it's probably going to be a free response. So it automatically gives you the type of question that you're looking for. I'm going to just duplicate this. Notice it's required. So I'm making sure that's required. Last name, done. Next is an email. Now there's two ways you can ask for an email. You can either go add a question and just email with the question mark like that. And then I would always come down here to these three little dots right here. And I would select response validation. That means I want it to be a text answer and it must contain an email so that it comes in correctly. That's one way you can ask for email. Or underneath settings, under responses, you can have it automatically collect an email address. I mean, it doesn't like pull it. They have to insert it themselves. But this way, you don't have to make it a question. It'll automatically do that. And if this is for parents, you want to double check down here where does it require a sign-in and does it restrict users to your school domain? This is one of the number one problems teachers have is they make one of these forms for parents. They send it out and it gives the parents a access denied response because it's limited to only your domain. So always turn that off if you're going to be sending this out to parents. So I always want to make that out there. Now notice, because it asks for the email up here now, I'm going to go ahead and delete this email. I don't have to include it because it's already going to ask for their email as soon as they sign in. Next, what day? What day do they want to meet? Now, I'm going to pretend that I'm an elementary school teacher and that my Wednesdays are early release so that I'm working with my PLN at the school so I can't meet with parents on Wednesday. So I'm going to select Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I can meet any of those days. Now, here's what I'm going to do here. Here's the special part. I'm going to split the form just like that. That means on the first page of the form, this is all they're going to see, and they have to fill this out to go to a further form. I'm going to title this section Monday Meeting. And then underneath this, I'm going to add a multiple choice, what time? And let's say that I only have 3 options of time. I'm not going to do that because they get to select the time. It's still going to be multiple choice. Option 1, let's say it is 2:30. I can meet at 2:30. I can meet at 3. I can meet at 3:30. And I can meet at 4. Okay, let's say those are the only times I can meet. What time on Monday? Just like that. Now watch what I'm going to do, Tyler. I'm going to come back up to this question and I'm going to do what's called go to a section-based answer. That I'm creating a tree. So if they select Monday, it'll automatically take them to my Monday meeting section. Okay, so what does that mean? That means I have to come to this section, duplicate this section, and title this Tuesday. And then I can come back up here again. It goes to Tuesday meeting. So I'm just creating a tree structure that it goes to the section that I want it to go to when they make the selection that they make. So I'm going to duplicate this again. Remember, we skipped Wednesday because that's our PLC day. So now Thursday or Thursday. That's how Thursday was created in the Norse way. And then finally, I'm going to do Friday. Duplicate section, Friday. What time on Friday? Boom, done. Again, I'm going to come up here to my answer-based question, Thursday meeting, and Friday meeting. Now, let me show you, if this is all we did, let me show you what that looks like. So you would send this to your parents. They'd type in their email at q.org. Type in the first name. And let's say, oh, I want to meet on Thursday. I click Thursday and I click next. Notice it takes me right here to the Thursday meeting time. Let's say I can meet at 3. I hit next. And I submit it. Okay, but here's the thing, watch. If I am a parent, hold on, let me. Oh, the one last thing I did forget to select is if you're doing this tree structure, after completing this section, make sure that the parents submit the form. That's the last thing I wanted. I forgot to do that last thing. Make sure they select submit form. But notice all of these times are still available. They did not delete. So if a parent came in and chose Thursday at 3 o'clock, you would be double booked. So this is the trick. You are going to come into your add-ons right over here. And you are going to type in choice eliminator. Boom. There it is. Choice eliminator light. And you're going to select and install that. And now I have it here. And it's right up top. Choice eliminator. And this is what happens with choice eliminator. Hold on. Because I just installed it, I have to restart it. There we go. And when you configure it, it automatically, and it says, hey, reminder, you know what? This should be drop-down question types, not multiple choice. I forgot that. I love this note because a lot of people say this choice eliminator doesn't work. It's because they select multiple choice instead of drop-down. So all I have to do is come back here and change it from choice to drop-down. That's it. You don't have to restart anything. You just drop down.
Now that's a nice little thing from Google to Microsoft. Microsoft, you actually have to delete the question and start over, whereas on this one you can just change the type. That's cool.
That's why I like this add-on, right? Because I can come here on Monday, eliminate choices. So as soon as somebody makes a choice, eliminate them. Eliminate them. Eliminate. Eliminate. Boom. Now watch what happens. I'm going to come here and submit another response, right? Type in my email. Type in my first name. Type in my last name. Let's say I want to select Friday this time. Next. Takes me to Friday. What time on Friday? 2:30. Submit. Done. Now let's try it one more time. Let's take a look to see if I select Friday again. Let's say my name is Tom Heebs at hoover.net. Just made that up. I don't know. Tom. Hope there's no Tom Heebs at hoover.net. That would be interesting. And he's just going to get this random email. Heebs. Friday. Oh, I want to meet at 2:30. It's gone. It eliminated that choice, and you cannot be double booked. Oh, I can't do 2:30. Let's try 3:30. Boom. And so if I come back to my meetings, those will be eliminated. Those will be eliminated. And the cool thing about it is, see, it's gone now. When I'm done, all I have to do is refresh the questions and it brings them all back. It remembers what was there. And so every week you can just start fresh again and not have to make a new one every week. It'll all come back. And that is with Choice Eliminator Lite. Choice Eliminator Lite. So that was my thing right there. Tyler, do you have something in Microsoft that does something similar?
Yeah, so as you were going there, I went ahead and built the same thing in Microsoft Forms, just to cut down on time of me typing in. So let me bring up my page there, and so basically, and it's kind of funny that you were calling like a question tree, right?
Yep.
And so in Microsoft, after you go here, I'm going to click on this one, and there's these three little dots, the dot, dot, dot. It's actually called branching. So it's just kind of funny that you have a tree and we got a branch. And so once you go to this branching, then it allows you, and I apologize, I don't know why my cursor is not showing. But on Monday, if I select that, then it goes to Monday. Or I can go down to, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And for those, I just went in and created just a simple multiple choice. And then once they are done, let me click back. Once they are done, they would hit submit. And like you said, up in the settings, so this is in the dot, 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 right under the shift logo. Click on settings, and you want to make sure it's anyone can respond. By default for us, it's set for only people in our organization, or you can send it to just specific people. So that is actually a really good thing if you're only wanting to send something to, 3 or 4 people. Options for responses, same kind of things that, you would have. But the one thing I don't have is the ability to automatically collect their email address as an option. If it's anyone can respond, I do not believe it requires them. If I did the only people in my organization, then the output, it will actually collect their email address. And we use that for various different reasons across the building. And when I preview this, it's, enter your name, last name, email, what day you meet. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick Wednesday. When I click on Wednesday, that's where it gives me the Wednesday options. Why it gives me the other two, I don't know. I'll have to go in and double check for what I possibly did wrong there. And then it would be submitting. But we don't have that add-on that you mentioned to eliminate choices. So Forms is not what I would use for this particularly. What I actually would use is called Microsoft Bookings, and Bookings is a scheduling software platform that is built into the Microsoft Office suite, and it's built more for businesses, so it's not the easiest thing to use for this. However, it is user-friendly enough that we can do this, and we actually will control it for our full school when we do our parent-teacher conferences, and we're able to go in, and this is just mine because I'm not going to, share our staff members' names and stuff, but I can go in under staff, and we added in all of our staff into this, and then we can go to our services, and so this is my personal one that I use, but in services, we would put in a new service. So I'll just add a new service, and this service name, I'm just going to call it Parent Meeting. And I can add a description, add online meeting. So, in today's day and age, it's a good thing to add always. And they don't have to use that, but it's just there. The duration is by default 30 minutes, but I'm going to bump that down to 15. And I can put a buffer time. If I want to have a 5-minute break in between my conferences, I could add that in right here. This price not set, that's where it goes into more of those business type features. Obviously, for a parent meeting, you wouldn't put a price, although, for some of them, we probably want a good payday for those. And then the maximum number of attendees. This part here is actually really cool how it can work. If I have one attendee, it'll do just like yours does, where once that option is taken, it eliminates it. But if I select it for 2, 3, 4, however many attendees, then if I'm doing group stuff, I could have, 4 people sign up for that time, and then that's their time slot. And after that fourth person signs up, it eliminates it. And, you would save the changes from there. But this availability option here this is where it gets really confusing, to be honest with you. And every time we do this, we have to do it 3 or 4 times because they always change stuff, which is good, but also it's confusing. The same kind of things here. So lead time, a parent can't schedule this for, less than an hour in advance. And it can be 14 days out. They could schedule it. But this right here, because it's all within the Microsoft ecosystem, it allows it to be bookable when the staff is free. So if I have a meeting on my calendar already, it will not let that time slot be available. If I take a day off and I put it on my calendar, it's not going to be available. And so there's a couple of different options on this, but because I have it overridden here, I can go down here and now I'm able to say not bookable or custom, which this is what we have used for parent-teacher conferences, and we would put in the exact times and days of the week that our conferences are. And then we would just save it. I'm going to go ahead and discard. And if I go to my booking page and I am going to go ahead and open it up, you'll see what they see from here. So they could click for, I have teachers that, want me to come in and record their classroom. They click here. It'll take a second to load up my calendar. And once it does on May 2nd, it starts at 1 p.m. And that is because I have something on my calendar prior to this already. So there's nothing that they could do. Whereas on Tuesday, they have the morning times open, but I have things on my calendar past that. And then they just go through, add their details, and then they click book. And it'll automatically add it to my calendar. It'll send the quote unquote, the client, it'll send them a calendar invite and a reminder. It can actually come from text reminder or email reminder, and it's all, set up there. And if we do this from one master account, like we have our Sherman master account, we're able to go in on the back end as a, admin, I guess you could say, and then take things and see where and when the whole school has their conferences so that we have people available when they are needed. So that's really the tool that I would use for that. It's built for that. The hack that you did with the Google side works really well too. And I would be curious if within Google Calendar, if there is some services or features or even add-ons that could virtually do the same thing.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's almost like a transition I wanted to share with you, because you can. So in Google Calendar, under Create, you would create an appointment schedule, and you would title this Parent Meetings. And you'd be able to say, how many, when you're available and things like that, right? Scheduling window. And then you'd come in here, you can choose a location, say I'm in room so-and-so, right? And then you'd save it. And then you would just give the parents this booking page. And they would come in here and say, I want to schedule time at 10:30 on Monday the 2nd. My name is Sally Sheets at Sheets Unlimited at net.net. Just making stuff up, and click book. And the booking is now confirmed. And then if I go back to my calendar and look on the 2nd, you can see that I have a parent meeting scheduled with Sally Sheets. So that is an option in Google Calendar. But to tell you the truth, Tyler, I don't know a lot of of people that use Google Calendar like that much. And I know a lot of schools that use Google as their ecosystem, but their staff are still utilizing Outlook as their email system. So they don't even have a Google Calendar available to be used. So to tell you the truth, I don't know of very many teachers that use that booking option out of it for multiple reasons.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that we just found by happenstance when COVID hit. You know, we weren't using this prior to COVID. It just came up, and we're like, we need something that we can still do parent teacher conferences. And we just did some digging. We're like, oh, bookings, what's this? And they're like, oh, that actually made things a lot easier. And so for like any email that I'm sending out, there's a little button at the bottom that says book an appointment, and it's just built right in. So it's a nice thing, but you're right. There's not many people that I know of that use it outside of parent teacher conferences. They don't just schedule time built in. And it's something that I think could grow more and more and could make things a little bit easier. But it's one of those, you know, it's kind of on the back of your mind things that you could do. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and one last thing before we move on, right? Another thing that can be used, this can be used for, is like I was talking about earlier, and that is if you're having a school party and you want them to select different items, right? There used to be a tool called Choice Eliminator, just by itself, no light, just Choice Eliminator. And when you were creating the elimination, you could actually say soda 4 times, meaning after 4 times, then it disappears. Plates 4 times, then it disappears. But when Google updated how Forms works, that function didn't work anymore. And some people are like, wait a minute, there's some out there. There's Choice Limit, there's Choice Limiter. I've tried them, and I've selected soda 4 times. And as soon as I select it once, it erases it after 1 time. I don't know why. It might be a bug, but it just doesn't work. So the hack around, everybody, still use Choice Eliminator Lite, but if you want soda multiple times, just type soda 3 times. And then once soda's been chosen those 3 times, it gets eliminated. So that's a hack around for that. But yeah, if you're not looking to book appointments, you can definitely have the choices be eliminated for your party donations. So
yeah, no, that is good. And I know within bookings on those services that I was showing, you can, you would make the service name as, you know, the soda. And then there's another one of chips, another one for carrots and, you know, cardboard cookies or, you know, gluten-free cookies that Zane has to eat. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the fact that there's great analogous tools in both ecosystems. Love the fact that the strategy isn't different, just where you look things up and how it's done. And then what you're looking to get out of it, that's when you would choose your tool, right? If you want the choice to be eliminated, you wouldn't use Microsoft Forms because it wouldn't eliminate it. So you'd go use bookings, that kind of thing. So we just love to be able to have teachers. It is capable. You can do this. You just have to know where to look. Like Tyler said, by happenstance, they found Microsoft bookings, but now they use it. And now you know about it. So if you are leaving a Google school and you've used Google Forms before for this kinds of stuff, now you know how to find it in Microsoft and vice versa. Well, Tyler, I think the episode went off well. I think we were able to complete the same activity in both ecosystems. So I guess I guess we can say we were able to make the shift because, as we all know, throughout the day, shift happens. And when it does, you better know how to handle it, right? So everybody, I want to thank my co-host Tyler Keefe for always coming in here with some great Microsoft tools to share out. I want to thank you all for listening. If you have any future activities you'd like us to try, please definitely reach out to us. We have our emails and Twitter handles in the show description, so definitely do that. And until next time, may the shift be with you. Have yourselves a wonderful